Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D. Welcome to Sex with Sunny. I know you guys missed me. We took a break in December. We're back. Happy New Year. Got a dope topic for you guys. You already know you can catch the whole crew Mondays every day at 10 p.m. Not every day. Mondays at 10 p.m. Tuesdays you got How to Hustle with Hype. Wednesdays is the Willie Styles and Chevy recap of our favorite Marvel things and miscellaneous movies in Marvel Universe and various others. Fridays you have me 2 Fridays out of the month with the Sex with Sunny live. This month is only one, but it's gonna be a great topic, so we'll make up for not having two. And then on Sundays you can catch the fellas doing the fans perspective, so all sports on Sundays at 10 p.m. so you can catch everybody. All right. As again, like I said, we got a dope topic for you guys. We always bring the content. Mm-hmm. I'm not wearing GFT radio merch. I don't think Willie is too. We failed today. But if you want to cop some of our merch,
casual Fridays.
Right. Listen, I work from home. You're lucky I got clothes on. That's all I'm gonna say. Like y'all lucky I look. My daughter's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm podcast. I can't be doing a podcast and what I wear throughout the day when I'm working from home is not appropriate.
Exactly.
But if you want to get some of our merchandise, go to Teespring. What is it? It's spring.create. GFTradio.creator-spring.com. Support us while we support you. And like I said, we got a dope topic for you tonight. I got a special guest. Tay Waits, you want to say hi?
OMG! Hi everyone. Thank you for inviting me on the show. I'm Taylor Tay Waits. DJ Tay Waits, whatever you want to call me, just make sure my name is spelled right on the check. That's all I care about. Yes, I am from Houston, Texas, but I'm living in Pittsburgh right now, going to school. I run an organization called Change Rape Culture. We are set on dismantling stereotypes, harmful stereotypes, any stereotypes really, about rape, abuse, sexual violence, and queer as well as Black and people of color survivors. So it's been a really great year for survivorship and policy, as well as like just being boss bitches. Right. So yeah, it's been a good time. I'm excited to be here. It's gonna be fun.
So she is here for the specific reason of having a dope topic of I kind of talked to Willie and I was like, I want to do a show about sexual assault or sexual abuse, molestation, and all that, and how those survivors enter into sex, like how after dealing with that, so entering like,
don't mind me yawning, noodles.
No, you're fine. And like how they deal with and cope with and having intimate exchanges with people, like sex and all that stuff. Like how sometimes, for like I said, for me, I'm a survivor, so for me to like get into being comfortable with having sex, talking about it, like I talked about it early when we first started this series on going live with it. I wanted to explain why I was so comfortable, because everybody was like, well, why are you talking about that? And I was like, well, I feel like if you're grown enough to have it, you should be talking about it.
Period.
And on top of that, it took me a minute to even be comfortable to talk about it because of what I went through, let alone be comfortable with what I like and understanding what I like, what I don't like, what are triggers and things like that. So I know I'm not the only one that deals with that or had to learn to be okay with being seen.
Yes.
As somebody, a sexualized person, being okay with being comfortable with what I like and being able to say it and express it and just being authentically myself without having that, that whatever negative connotations it is with people.
Yes.
And Brittany actually put me on to Tay, and I was like, that's super dope to kind of get that. And then I guess I'm pretty sure, Willie, I'm going to grab you in too, because I know you probably dealt with females who have been in those situations, and either you were their first experience or you had to deal with sometimes the trauma and the reliving and different things that we go through when it's approaching our partners, because sometimes you get a trigger that you're not prepared for. I know I've had people that I've dealt with and they was like, what the hell? And I had to have the conversation with them and tell them, this is what I've been through. So this is why, this is how we help get through this type of situation. So I thought it was a dope conversation to have. I feel like it's not something that's talked about. And if this is Sex with Sunny, I want to be completely authentic. And this is a much needed conversation. So
yes, of course.
That's the vibe we're giving off tonight. I know we usually talking raunchy and toys and miscellaneous things. Guys, we'll get back to that. But I just think that this conversation for me and for many other people and for a lot of us to gain understanding and to understand that we're not alone. Because a lot of people, like I had people say, oh, I never talked about that. And it's a very real thing. So I just figured let's approach it head on. I'm all about a challenge. So let's knock this out the park.
Yes. Come on, challenge.
Initially, so I guess my first question would be so I don't want to be in people's business, but if you choose to share, have any of you experienced that type of situation that like either rape, molestation, or somebody try to solicit you to either or groom or try to groom you into that type of life?
Yes, all of the above. So that's something that I always talk about with my survivors too, is like one of the things about change rape culture is people don't know they be raping people. People don't know that they're abusive as fuck. People don't know that they're gaslighting. People don't know that they're traumatizing, re-traumatizing their partners. As you said, you don't really know until it happens, And if as survivors, we don't know what's happening. That's the whole thing. Especially with what you were saying when it comes to solicitation, molestation, those are all from severe feelings of, feeling unequal, of feeling like I'm not worth it. So I was doing things that were illogical because I'm thinking to myself, like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's abuse. It's not love. It's all of these things. And if you're a child survivor, someone which a lot of survivors are, you were abused as a child, then you grow up with these fucked up expectations and boundaries into what is normal and what is non-normal. We go to college, we become independent, or we just get out into the world, regardless of education or not, as most of us experience abuse, not on a campus, even though my organization started on a campus. But it is something that you have to consolidate every day, something that you have to remind yourself of, which is why I started Change Rape Culture. It's not called End Rape Culture because rape culture is not going to end. It's just going to change. It's going to look different. Similar with white normativity, patriarchy, all this other fucked up shit. It just molds to what it can disguise as next. And it's up to us to be able to recognize it in all of those forms, just as you said. I didn't understand I was being molested while it was happening. I thought this was a genuine relationship with someone who loved me as a child.
Grooming, though.
Even though they're a adult, I'm thinking to myself, like, the age gap here is not throwing me off. What I'm feeling here is like is love. And so it's so important to understand who you are and what's been going on with you before you start to move forward and even pursuing a relationship. You know what I mean? That's something that I think accountability as a survivor, that's one of the first things. Sometimes you're not ready to, you don't know your own boundaries enough to then be able to explain them. As you said, I love that you're able, and maybe you should talk more about that, to explain to people what your triggers are, because even for me as a survivor, you find more every day, of course. Yeah, sometimes I'll smell something and I'll be like, oh, fuck.
It's funny because I was raped by a family, by an uncle.
Yeah.
That's dated one of my, was married or dated one of my family members, right? So I was a child. I was in my teenage years. That whole year was kind of a blur. And it's odd because I was a super supreme tomboy, right?
Yes.
My mom had to fight me to put dresses on. Like, that's how serious I was a tomboy. And the one day my friend convinced me to buy this leather skirt. It was a 3-tone brown leather skirt. I remember it.
Yes.
I wore it to school. She had her little skirt on. We're trying to match, and she wanted me to be girly.
Yes.
So I did. And back then in 9th grade, I was just forming my body. My body was just getting formed.
Yeah.
So I had a little more in the back, a little less in the front. So if the skirt fit a certain way, and I felt
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and I just tell her like I don't feel comfortable. Like I never liked people looking at me.
Yes.
So, and this was early on. So I wore the outfit. We hung out. I went with my cousins to their dad's house, like we had went many other times before.
Right.
This night in particular, everything went left,
Right.
and that happened. And told a family member, and for me, it was like my family was the family member I first initially told called the cops.
Yeah.
Got me together because it was fresh after it happened. Like I ran. She lived not too far away.
Got you.
Like, once he left, I ran because the odd thing was he did it and then got up and said, "Do you want anything for 7-Eleven?" and just left.
Always. Always.
And I was like,
this the normalization, right?
It's just yes.
Completely like, and I'm sitting there like, what? And then he did it. This is how bold he was. His kids, 2 daughters, were laying in the. Like he had 2 beds, big like full-size beds that were together.
Yeah.
So they were laying literally near me.
Yes.
Like I can roll over a little bit and they're right there.
Yes.
And I, in my mind, for every reason, I was in protective mode. So as much as I was trying to get him off me, I didn't really scream because I didn't want them to wake up to see what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he got up and was like, "Hey, I'm going to 7-Eleven. Do you want something from 7-Eleven? Put his shoes on." And I'm like, "What?" And as soon as he left, I just ran down the street with whatever I had on.
Yes.
And ran to my cousin that lived not too far, older cousin. And I told her, she called the cops. And the other family members came and then they made the cops leave, told them that I was having an epilepsy episode and let's go home. Brought him there for me to talk to him. Yikes. And then it was told that it didn't happen. It was because of what I was wearing, but it didn't happen.
Yikes.
So that's where I was at with it.
Right.
I'm a teenager. So now I don't feel comfortable with getting dressed because because now I'm told that this can happen, even though it didn't, allegedly. And then, so when I got into my, I remember the first guy is funny. Willie had the chance to meet him, even though there was a lot of stuff happening that night of my birthday.
Yes.
He came. That guy, I started dating him, and the first time we decided, because that was me losing my virginity. That's what that was. That situation was. So when I finally got comfortable and I felt like I was safe with somebody, like I remember the first time I tried to have sex with the guy, with the boy that I was dating, and he was like, "No, I need to make sure you're good." And he waited until like I finally kept, like I basically had to beg him because I didn't want that to be like my memory of what it was. So I wanted something to kind of wash it away.
Yeah.
So that was. So for me, that's my first experience, like my first willingly experience,
consensual experience, most definitely.
And then the guy that I dated that was a little older than me, he was the first person to set off my triggers, and I didn't realize that. You know how you just go through stuff and you don't process everything,
right? He
had chest hair, and do you know that when he got on top of me and he laid his chest on me, it was like the same move. And I jumped up and I screamed and I was hysterically crying. He was like, "What the?" And I did it twice.
Yes.
And the first time I didn't explain to him, he just was like, "Oh, hell no, I'm not messing with you."
Right.
And then, because like he couldn't even calm me down. Like I was screaming.
Yes.
I couldn't calm down.
Yes.
And then the second time it happened, he was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Right.
And I was like, "Well, let's go talk." And it took me a minute to even say, "Let's go talk." Like it was like 2 days later. And I was like, "Okay, now I think I can talk about it. Let me tell you what's going on with me." And he was like, "Okay." So he was nice enough to shave and try not to. He was like, "Well, what? How do I know if I'm going to do it again? Like, what if I just instinctively?"
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so we had to work. Like he was the first person I had to like kind of work through.
Yes.
Like actually doing it and getting past a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And it was like, for me, and like even at 38 now. I had honest conversation with somebody one time, and I said to them, and like, you know how somebody say something to you, and ask you a question, you just like blatantly just blurt it out. You're like, "Oh shit, I can't take that back." I said, He said to me, and I said, "I rarely have sex without drinking."
Right.
And I'm realizing that at 38,
right,
that I rarely have 100% sober sex.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like I have to be a little bit tipsy.
Period.
Or have a little bit of something to kind of get me to be comfortable enough, because I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
And only a few people that I can say probably count on one hand that I'm actually comfortable with that I can actually say I had sex with them completely sober and I was okay with it.
Yes, most definitely.
Very few.
Yeah.
But at 38, that's how much it's still affecting me.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it because now I'm like, oh, that's crazy because I don't feel like I can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I can do a lot of other stuff.
Right.
But I have to be somewhat influenced by like alcohol or edibles or smoking or something to kind of be truly relaxed and comfortable with doing anything I'm doing and not be ashamed.
And that's period.
Like, I need, and I realized at 38, I need to find somebody that I'm comfortable with to do it completely sober and be authentically comfortable and feel safe.
Yes.
And that's crazy that I just realized that the end of last year.
Yeah. No, definitely.
It was 2021. And that's why I said to Willie, and I thought about it after I had I was like, I gotta talk about this on the podcast because I know somebody else is still dealing with these. Like it's not just
unrealized traumas, right?
Right.
Unrealized coping mechanisms, rather. Yeah.
And like that was a hard thing to admit because it's like, well, damn. And right now I've been without adult activities since what, June now? It's June. What is this? Is this about to be February? It's real.
No, literally day 106 without sex. You got superpowers. You got laser eyes.
I'm over here like damn. But at the same
your
time,
your brain is big.
But and even then, like if I want someone, I'm probably gonna have to be drunk because I won't.
Right.
And that's crazy.
Yeah. Which is like you said, which is a sad realization, but also it's one of those realizations that you have to have. And I think a lot of people have coping mechanisms, right? Or they have ways of dulling either dulling pain or like you say, keep themselves from, lift their inhibitions because they may be inhibited because of whatever they've gone through or whatever they, but not if you're not realizing that's why you're doing it, that's kind of a problem, right?
Yes.
Because one that's telling you that all this time, even if you have gone through counseling or therapy or whatever, you've still not completely healed from this thing that's causing you to rely on these coping mechanisms. Now, if you're using that coping mechanism because that's your chosen method, then that's fine, right? Because sort of it's not self-destructive, right?
Right.
And that's the thing is that people will choose things that are self-destructive, things that are constructive, things so. And I mean, I haven't had that issue with sex as a activity, but in terms of talking about sex, I know that I've gone through things where I've had to figure out the best way to talk about it without feeling like, like you say, embarrassed or feeling like I was the one that was wrong and things like that, because like you said, being molested as a child, you go into that mode of what did I do wrong?
Right.
Or you're even told that you were the one that was wrong, right?
Yeah.
And you feel like you have to be invisible in this situation now because you want to protect yourself.
And it's rightfully so, correct? Like as you say, when survivors, number one of the largest things that happens after trauma is over-sexualization. And as a sex worker, I have a very complex relationship to sex, as well as like to being sexualized, as you said, because it was very similar stories of several instances within my family of being abused by different people because of what I'm wearing or because of what I'm looking like. I was always seen, I always felt queer, I always felt gay, but it was always the DL / niggas who was kind of gay in my family who wanted to, molest me because she kind of looks like a boy, so it's not the same. And then before they eventually migrate to boy cousins, you know what I mean? It's really fucked up how people just are trying to find power. So they'll search and prey on children instead of, getting a job, having a life, not being a bum ass nigga. And then you move through the eras and you see that bum ass niggatry is really like, is non, it doesn't care about gender. The amount of within queer relationships, the amount of domestic violence and intimate partner abuse is ridiculous. Yes. The amount of intimate partner abuse within cis normative heterosexual Black relationships, it's disgusting. The amount of abuse within all white, interracial, whatever it is. The point is we have to change these ideologies of how we feel like we're within partnerships that we're owed people's space in their bodies. You know, as y'all were saying, one of the things that I do is always ask for consent, even if I'm getting in someone's area, especially with COVID going around. May I walk around you? May I put my hand up? Sometimes even, like you said, putting your hand up too fast or walking up behind somebody and you don't know that they're a survivor. You're coming up behind them in the grocery store. You know, a lot of people like to put their hand on the back of my lower back, and that's a huge trigger for me, being touched without being asked to be touched. I'll just whoop back and we'll all have to just start fighting, you know what I mean? And these are all mechanisms that come from my experience. And y'all don't know my experience. You don't know me. That's a part of change rape culture, is that we don't have enough empathy for people when we see them to think this person might have been through an experience that won't allow them to see this joke as a joke.
That's why people don't realize that sometimes it's like you're overreacting and you're not.
You're
it's
not.
Like,
this is actually an underreaction to what's happening.
And even like for me, that was me screaming and hysterically and going through whatever emotions and crying hysterically. It was surprising to me.
Yes.
Like, yes. I didn't know
but then you did it. And the answer was not, I believe you. Our motto in Change Rape Culture is we believe you, because the amount of times that people just tell you to your face after you told them the fucking truth that I don't believe you is 99% of the time. Most cases of rape and abuse are never going to be reported, because not only are you going to talk to the police who need, like you said, I was happy that person believed you and called the police, because I don't necessarily believe in calling the police as a survivor. That's not necessarily going to save you, which is what I'm going to get through. But the police only count it as an abuse if after it's happened is within the same day. So after you're raped, you're not supposed to take a shower. You can't change your clothes. You can't call anybody. Somehow you're traumatized, but you got to get yourself to the police station now. And then they do a rape kit. And a rape kit, if you don't know what that is super invasive. They're all up in there. They're taking samples. They're swapping. This is literally hours after you were raped or abused by somebody.
And that's the crazy part, because
then takes accountability is to then punish the victim by getting all up in your goods. Then after that, if you're black and gay and they don't spin the story around as they did with you and say it was all in your head or that you caused this. And then sometimes the perpetrators then put charges on the survivor to even further their point. Yes, exactly. It's like being abused the second time. And then you go to jail and you experience abuse. And then your judge doesn't believe you. Then you go home. There's no one who's believing you.
Yeah.
Who really is going to handle the truth? Who really is going to find justice for me? You know what I mean?
And that's what I didn't understand from that situation, for me in particular, because I was probably 14, 15.
Yes.
I was 10. And visibly, you saw my clothes all rummaged up and anything like that, whatever. And then it was blood everywhere.
Right.
My cousin called the cops.
Exactly.
Y'all saw me. Doesn't matter what my family member said.
Exactly.
Look at me. I'm telling you what happened, and they're saying, no, well, she just had an episode, and this is how she always is, blah, 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 and all this stuff. Like, I'm sorry. I've had seizures all my life.
Yes.
That's not what happens when you have a seizure.
Right.
I've been to the hospital after having a seizure for hours or overnight, and I was still, my clothes were still the same.
Exactly.
So there was no blood and things like that. So for me, I felt like the cops betrayed me, my family betrayed me, and the ultimate slap in the face was getting drove back to the house and having him there to talk to me.
So stupid.
Yeah. So like Smooth said, it goes back to how people blame the victim. It's easier to blame the victim than to confront the accused, right? Nisha said that she had to learn that intimacy terrified her. As a victim, she learned it was about him, her abuser, and not herself.
Yes.
She said, why would her body portray her like that?
Period.
She knows that it's wrong, but sometimes her body thought differently.
Yes.
She said what was devastating is that actually someone asked her, why didn't she tell the abuser no? Forgetting that she was actually an obedient child at the time and he was an adult. She did not realize until she was 18 that she could say no.
And that's the thing too, because my family members were saying to me, if it happened, why didn't you scream and try to push him off you?
Yeah.
I did. I'm sorry. If you guys met me in high school, I was under 100 pounds.
Right.
This was a grown man.
That
was solid. And I could have screamed. I could have did all of that. for whatever reason, in that moment, my mind, even though
Yeah.
I was saying no and not yelling,
Yeah, you're in shock.
Exactly.
And you're protecting other people. Isn't that crazy?
And you were
That you're in
protecting
shock and
his two
protecting?
kids that are younger than me
Mhm.
are right there.
And if he's so willing to do it right there, what makes you think the
And
minute
they don't
you
even
left,
know.
you know?
Yeah.
And it like, and then that was the issue, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you verbally didn't say no.
Right.
That's a traumatic situation, and that's why I say it's kind of a grooming thing. I've known people that got groomed.
Yes.
Into it. I just watched a documentary on Netflix about this girl that basically got groomed, and I love him. I know personal people close to me that didn't understand.
Woo!
That they
I
were
got
too
people in
young
my family who
to-
were molested
to-
by their
to-
uncle, and they'll say
to
that's my
give
favorite
consent.
uncle.
Yeah, and I got friends that didn't understand that they were too young to give consent to this older person that they were dating, and that this man preyed upon you. Or even one of the guys I know, this female preyed upon you.
Yeah. Literally.
And like, to me, that's the biggest detriment to men. It's men that go through molestation, rape by women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're not going to speak up. And like, I would love to have had one on the show, but like to speak up and speak your truth and not feel judged.
Yes.
Right.
Because to them, that's why Clint or Smooth so eloquently in the comments at King's Truth said we made a shirt on our podcast on our website that says protect our boys like how we protect our girls, because you're missing the fact that boys can be molested too,
and they are.
Women
they
can
do,
be seen as
They
predators.
do. These men, and that's the thing. It's the accountability. Masculinity is a really hard thing to try and penetrate when you aren't seen as someone in a root of power. So for generations, it's been really hard because rape has been a white woman's issue. It's been something that people who help white women, who surround white women, who are trying to protect white women, who are trying to protect white women are, focused on. So they're not focused on thinking of rape from a lens of this can happen to anybody at any time, regardless of gender or, regardless of anything. This could just happen to anyone. And so working with survivors, especially queer survivors, we have a lot of trans men, a lot of gay men who are molested as children, and are not believed because people will then backfire at them. Well, you're gay. Like, obviously you're a child, so you must have liked it. That must have been something that you wanted.
Well, and then too, using your sexuality as a basis for your sexual orientation, using it as a basis for your sexuality.
And it's the same with men. You know what I mean? Saying, well, since you're a manly man, why didn't you enjoy it? Boosie out here saying he paid for his 8-year-old son, a prostitute for an 8-year-old, and the Black community is like, yeah.
And that's rape.
The issue. That is literally grooming this child. Why is he doing that? 50 Cent talks about losing his virginity. Lil Wayne lost his little virginity when he was 12. And these men were raped. These men were raped by grown women, and they wear it like a badge of
honor. Yeah. Smooth said that technically he had the same situation, and I mean, look at his words. Technically, not that he was allowed to think that this was rape. It was that he had to realize that it was cool. Realize that it's molestation. As a young boy, he was.
And both parties. That's the other thing, that we all have to realize, which is why changing rape culture, that saying is also so loving and so open, because I perpetuate rape culture. We all do. We all unknowingly fall into perpetuating these things that are harmful to other folks. But I have to be able to hear Taylor XYZ and be able to hear that and say yes and move forward. If there was, I'm not in the business of reforming abusers at all, but a lot of people start there in the conversation of, well, what about them? What about that person? What are we doing to reform them? And if we started the question with what are we doing for the survivor who is watching them, who's caring for them, regardless of what they look like, especially our Black boys, and especially our Black girls, especially queer Black women. We posted a story on Change Rape Culture this week about how Black girls are not, Black men are pushed into prison, but Black girls are pushed into sex slavery. Black girls are pushed into death. Black girls are pushed out of school. Black girls are pushed into expulsion. So it's not just Black men who are receiving all of these things. It's actually Black women at higher rates and also getting abused that are experiencing these things. So we as a community, as you were saying, need to do better at holding each other accountable. There's a lot of, birds in my family that uphold Black men, including my grandfather, who groomed my grandmother when she was 15 and married her when he was a whole 26. Weird behavior. But he literally ran my whole family.
And that's why but see, the ideal is like you could take it back to the Bible. These people weren't grown. Like they weren't. They were married. Like you look at arranged marriages. Half the girls are younger because they're there for the purpose of procreation.
Yes. Ooh.
So they may not see it. That's why I said it's the ideal of understanding.
It's a cultural thing. It's a
cultural thing because they think that it's okay because I'm marrying my 12-year-old to this man and it's cool.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and welcome Nisha to the show. Hey.
Hey, Nye.
And you're yellow.
Yes. This is Sunny's sister. You want to go ahead and talk about your experience as well? Oh,
is she on mute? You muted? No.
Are you muted? You muted?
You keep saying it. She's like, oh. People get their hair done and act up. That's what happens.
No, still can't hear you.
No.
It may be your actual.
I had it on mute.
Yeah. There you go.
So.
Oh, hold on. Shout out. It was her birthday on the 19th.
Oh
yeah, happy birthday.
She's now 24.
Period. Me too.
24. Hey, King. They're definitely okay. So I'm a victim of sexual abuse myself,
Yes.
And I sometimes think like, wow, this man groomed me for so long. Like I always noticed I would never get in trouble with him.
Mm-hmm.
I never got a beating from him. He never threatened me like that, Now
fought.
My other siblings, that's a different story.
We fought, so.
But for as long as I can remember, I think he must have came in our life when I was 7. I never liked him.
Right.
I don't know what it was about him, but I never liked him.
The vibes.
I had vibes early on. Actually, he was the second person to abuse me because I had a neighbor who did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my mom got so mad. Her anger scared me.
Oh.
Now I know it's because she was, but I didn't want her to get mad like that.
Yes.
So that taught me, you can't tell mommy stuff like that because she's going to go off. So for me, when I started being abused at 13, I kind of thought, I know it sounds crazy to say, but I kind of thought that, okay, if he does this to me, it's okay as long as he don't do it to nobody else.
Period.
So
I also felt the same way.
That's a common thing.
I also felt that way. Exactly. Yes, most definitely.
So for me, it was like, all right, this is an adult. I got to listen to him. I don't want to tell my mom that I hurt her. I'm not going to tell anybody in his family because, they probably wouldn't believe me anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't till, by 18, I knew I could say no. So I did say no. I didn't really come out and say it till I was pregnant with my daughter, actually. And it's because he was trying to make a pass at me. So I told him I was lesbian. I'm not lesbian, but I told him that.
Exactly.
He's like, I turned you into a bad word that you used for lesbian. That's what he said. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, like, I'm tired of keeping this secret, Like, I'm tired of this. So I told my mom.
You told us first.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I told Sonny and my other sister first, and kind of find out he was trying to do the same thing to one of them. I'm not going to say who because they're not on air, they kind of. But, so my mom's reaction really shocked me because I was feeling bad holding it back. Like, she don't know she's sleeping with the devil, basically, is what I was thinking. But, like, she was just blown away.
Yeah.
And I don't fault her for her reaction. At first I did, but I think it's because she was still in shock. Like my mom was a strong advocate for kids not getting touched. Like, you're not going to be older trying to talk to my daughter. Like, she was very protective of us. And to think that someone close to her would do something like that, like defy her trust. So for me, I said, look, I'm having this baby. I can't continue this cycle. And he was trying to come into my daughter's life as a grandpa. And I'm like, that ain't your grandpa?
Yeah, not mine either. Like, listen, don't you dare call that nigga grandpa.
So this is what I told her. It got real for me when I realized that she would go places with family members and he would be there. So this is what I told her. I said, I don't care if you're walking down the street and it's raining cats and dogs. I mean, they falling on your head and everything. Don't you get in that car. I said, if I can come and get you. Don't ever get in the car with him by yourself. Don't ever get in his car. And then, of course, I got to tell her why.
Yeah, I told my daughter too. Like, no.
Period.
But it's like,
I'm going to
I can't fault my mom how she reacted. I can't fault her because what has she been through? You get what I'm saying? So that was the only way she had to deal. You know, you got to understand that. I mean, as a kid, you don't understand it. But now that I'm a mom, I understand it. Like my daughter, when certain stuff go left and I jump on it, Mom, oh my God, it's not that big a deal. Yes,
yeah, because I didn't even tell her about me until I was grown. Like I'm talking like a year or two before she passed. I told her, and she was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Because I already knew that if I told you, you was coming to 403, and it was about to be a different type of time over here. and then what? Like to Nai's point, I had found out after sharing my truth. And Willie, on our show multiple times, one of my other family members said, "Yo, we need to have a conversation." But then I was told that it happened to her too.
Yes.
And with the same person it happened to me, because he has a type. So me and her had like a brief conversation, and we have to have another conversation because I told her, you know, doing this show, blah, blah, blah. And it's like talking about it triggers people.
Yes.
Like that's why I said I got to drink tonight, because I know I'm going to think about this. If not now, later, it's going to be like, this is crazy.
You better protect yourself. Period.
Like tonight's point, my whole purpose in life was to make sure nothing ever happened to my daughter, because I don't want that trauma. You're talking about generations of the same or close to the same trauma. Not just with me and my sister. It's been generational in our family. And it's like, at what point does it stop? Because, and this is why I'm the type of mom where I don't let everybody come to my house. And if you're in my house, I got eyes on you the whole time you with me. You never with my child alone.
Yes.
I'm never going to give you the opportunity. There's no way that you're going to be. And half the time I had company, nobody was here.
Yes. Shout out to y'all. I really love that, because
that's a hard thing to deal with.
My mom was molested. As I said, it was by her, fave uncle. So I agree where sometimes other survivors, especially since I run a support group, not everybody's in the same space. Some of us are married to our abusers and we're working through it. Some of us are just like with them, some of us have kids with them. Sometimes people change. I don't know. But I do know, like y'all said, that the continuation of trying to protect, because protecting Black girls is one thing, but not holding these niggas accountable is what has to be stopped. And I'm the one that will shoot a nigga. So I can't go nowhere in my family now, because I'm the one. Ain't you the one that was raping kids? Y'all know this man is a rapist. This grown ass man was out here raping. You can't be at the funeral. Y'all, they hate me. They don't ever. I'm estranged from most of my family now, because I'm not gonna hide it. I'm not gonna stand next to this man. I'm not gonna sit here and act like these people didn't do X, Y, and Z, because that's the reason why they're continuing to walk these ways. In my most immediate family, we have 4 of my cousins who've been molested just last year because of 2020 and leaving your kids with all these different people. 4 people already. And all of their parents said the same thing. They're too young. They won't remember. And I can either stand here and watch these kids literally become traumatized over and over and over and see the generational trauma, or I can kill some niggas. I just rather niggas die for that. I would rather see people dead than
that's
have
why I said castration
deal
for all
with
of you.
this over and over again, because you can sit, like I told my mom, she did a great job, which is why I say shout out to y'all, because as a child she did everything within her power to keep me safe. But we can't do anything to keep our children safe. There's nothing as a parent that's probably one of the scariest things you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's always been a concern for me. Watching, the fact that I have 4 girls, right? And watching my children grow up, and always having, like you say, to be worried or having to be overprotective, because you got to be overprotective. If you're not overprotecting them, you're not protecting them enough. But also still knowing that there's still that 80, 70, whatever it is, % chance that they're still going to be molested, raped,
or some
other type of
harsh
abuse
reality of it. You can do everything you want. You really can. And that's as you talk to survivors who are as young as 2 years old and as old as 98 who are being abused in their senior homes. There's people, powerful people are going to prey on people that they find weak for the rest of time. That's just what it is. There are evil people in this world, and they look like you and me. They act like it too. These people are sociopaths. They are skilled in hiding their intentions of hurting not just children, but just
sometimes in plain sight. They hide
they're basically predators. So I have a question. Nye, I want you to kick it off first. At what point did you become comfortable, or have you become comfortable? Because like I said earlier, I had to realize that I wasn't comfortable. I haven't been having sex soberly for forever, for a long period of time. And I'm at 30, I'm just not realizing that. But at what point, if at any point, did you feel comfortable to have sex, or be able to express what you want and be okay with it?
I'll say toward the end of my 30s, because I'm 42 now. Like my late 30s.
I thought you were 24. You're supposed to stick to 24.
Oh yeah, I'm 24.
Period.
But once I approached 24, I realized I'm like, I don't want to be having sex, empty sex. I don't want to be sleeping with somebody and then like pulling myself away emotionally. Cause how is that fun? Like if I'm all here, like with me, I had rules: no kissing, don't touch my boobies, and we good.
And people like your boobies though,
huh?
People like your boobies. She got huge.
No, shut up. But anyway,
put the camera down. Let me play.
You're so silly. But for me, I just was like, I have to become comfortable at some point. I can't go on my whole life like this, and I can't keep that in my head, because that's going to stop me from connecting with who I'm with. And it's not fair to the person I'm with to try to heal me or give me therapy. I mean, he's going to be there, of course, because otherwise we wouldn't be together. But I can't dump that on him. So it's like, I'm like, okay, you got to come into your own and you know what you like. The King's Truth said 24. But
mind your business, smooth.
But yeah, I just decided once I turned really 40, I was like, that's it. It's over with. I can't, if I can't be happy with it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Why lie? I mean, and I don't mean like I was like pretending to make a guy think that I liked it and I didn't know. The caveat for me was I was dating someone and we had a little moment. It scared the crap out of me. Yeah. Because for once, I wasn't running away. I wasn't trying to disconnect. He wasn't just some dude, or and it scared the crap out of me. Like I was like, wait a minute, I wasn't. How do you
feeling ways I didn't want to think I could feel?
Exactly.
And I think that's my problem too, because I don't, like I said on many of Sex with Sunny things, although I like to be submissive, I won't let you achieve I'm not going to willingly let you achieve the goal.
Yeah.
Of the whole purpose of sex. I'm not going to let you do it. It's my little control over it, because, and I think that brings it back to that, my first situation. Yeah. I was too young. I was too young to know what control was. So like you said, your body felt like your body betrayed you. Mine betrayed me in a way that I was 15, no idea what, 14 or 15, never understanding what exactly happened. Mm-hmm. Like when you come, people, you should know what that is. I had no idea what it was. Right. It happened involuntarily. And so for me, I didn't blame myself. I was too young to understand what happened.
Exactly.
To me, I peed on myself or whatever happened, something happened wrong. So that was my mind state. So as an adult, I think I've subconsciously been blocking myself to fulfill that, because my first experience that happened, and even if I didn't want it, like I think it was like a mental thing. Like I didn't want it, but this is what happened. So in my mind, my body betrayed me. But at 38, I'm just now understanding that, like right now in this moment, it's not understanding that maybe that's my thing, because that happened then. Like that's probably the only time not the only time. One of the first times in my life that happened, and I didn't even know what the fuck it was. And now for my body and my mind is triggering me to, I can't do this because it reminds me, and maybe it remind me of that. So
yeah,
that's crazy. No, understand. That's why I tell you said it. You don't realize shit. Like I'm realizing that now, like where we're talking, like damn.
Dead ass,
because doing this. Like,
this is such a good question because I come into different points of comfortabilities with myself. I feel like every year or every few months, you know, you become this, you unravel, and you become okay with that unraveling. And specifically, like you said, with wanting control, I had to be okay with like, I'm allowed that. I should have control. I should have had control over that situation. If I had control over that situation, this shit wouldn't have fucking happened in the first place. So how do I regain control? How do I feel sexy? And sex work, dominatrix. Piss on these niggas. Fight them. Whatever the fuck it is. Shit on them. I've shat on a man. I don't give a fuck. I'll do it all. I've got a menu. And that's how I reclaim everything that's happened to me, especially as a sex worker. I got stories on stories of niggas slapping me, calling me all different types of names, you know. And I started sex work when I was 13. I was a wild ass bitch. I'm 24 now. Still wilding. Still out here. But you know, I've just had to learn, like you said, to hone that sexy, to see that I was not a child prostitute. I was a child. I was not someone. Piss on these niggas. I was not.
Because I'm coming into myself and understand what I like, but at the same time, I won't like. I'll say some stuff, but I'll say you eat my ass. That's the best shit ever. I'm here for that. But like all the other stuff that I'm into, I'm not gonna say that to people because I don't know if you're ready for that because. Like I said, for me, I have to feel comfortable with you. And that's why I say, I'm glad that I'm on this self timeout of my own.
Yes.
Because when I meet somebody, they get, I want them to get the full 100% Sunny. Like this is me, unapologetic and authentically me in owning my sexuality and being
and you deserve that if that's what you want, you know what I mean? Me and my partner, I one of the other things I was going to end on is like I discovered I was a lesbian last year. I wasn't always a lesbian. I can throw it back, bitch. And I used to be doing that, you know? And the entire time I had always never really liked it. I never really liked having sex with men. It was always something that I could do and I knew I could do well, period. I just know I can do this. I know that these niggas fiending. And that's for me, my shit. I love the attention. I love knowing I can do what I can do. But then I met my partner and I was like, wait, like, what is this? And I had always had feelings for non-men. I'd always, you know, I always was also a tomboy, but I just never felt like a lesbian. I was like, yeah, I'll probably date, or even if I married someone who was a non-man, I'm gonna have a boyfriend somewhere, or I'm gonna still get whatever. And after being with my partner and both of us being sex workers, and once we had sex with each other, we just looked at each other and said, damn, we lesbians. We literally went like this. Damn, we lesbians. Like we just looked at each other and knew it would like, and it's taken me this long, you know. I'm happy, and I always tell them I'm so humble that we're only 24 and we're both in school and we're doing a lot, but that we found this genuine love because I've up until this last year, I felt that way about everything. The people I was in a relationship with, my family, the work that I was doing, I just felt like I was a robot. Like I'm just doing shit. Literally, you've been abused and traumatized your whole life. You don't have time to sit down and be like, who am I and what am I doing and why am I doing it? And then I get to meet this person, and we both finally get to. I always tell them I love how you undo me sexually, intimately, as well as a person. They challenge me to think differently, and I want that with people. As a non-monogamous person, I do know people who are like, no, I'm just trying to get the claps, just trying to get the cheeks. And if that's you, go off. Understand that about yourself as well. That sometimes we are sexual beings, and regardless of if I'm in this intimate relationship with somebody, I still want to have XYZ and learn that about yourself. You know, love that. But for me, I'm demisexual. I really gotta you gotta touch my heart pussy. Not my real pussy. You know what I mean? Like, just like you said, you can't give it all to them. And I was being real who I am, sex worker with this person. Like, they don't know me. They don't know what they're not about to get none of this. And here I am, a ball on the floor. Like, what do you need, baby? I want
to piggyback off of that then, because for me, you know, like I said, I was really young when I was molested, and it wasn't something that was immediately apparent to me because being a man, being taught to use my masculinity in a way where I'm supposed to go out and get sex, or I'm supposed to go out and be with women and all this other stuff, you know, being comfortable wasn't like a thought, right? You know, it's not a thought process you go through. And I never really thought about it that way as comfortability, but thinking about it as like my attempt to be connected emotionally or really have a real connection with somebody I'm having sex with. You know, growing up, I did wait until I was like 16, 17 before I started having sex, but it was like my thing was it was in that conquer mode, right? You know, it's like, oh, if I can do this, you know, I'm trying to do it with everybody, you know, every woman I can get to. And then, you know, I was always an over-sexualized person. So I was like, everything that I could look at, see, do, I wanted it to involve sex. So, you know, doing that or going into sex, you know, at 16, 17 years old, it was like, you know, just a progression. It wasn't really like a revelation, or it wasn't like oh my God, this is so beautiful, or whatever the case may be. It was just like boom, boom, boom. And then for me though, it was the first woman that I actually did have a real connection with, that I felt more emotional about. Then I felt that you know, that connection to it versus like basically being disconnected. Like I would just go into sex mode and you know, and I used to joke about being addicted to sex, but I know that it's really a thing, and it's because I get disconnected. It's like you just go into functional mode. Having an emotional
but that's the thing too, because I get moments of, I would say, hypersexual. Like I get to the point where I can, like right now, I've been dormant for almost going on 8 months. It's very terrible for me. But it's like, once I get it, you got to give it to me. What do you mean? What do you mean no? Like there's no, I got to get it. Like I want it as much as I can possibly get it. And then I get to points where I get super low on sex. I don't want it. Like I don't want you to touch me, leave me the fuck alone. I feel like that's all you want from me. And the next minute it's like, gimme. Like I go into these patterns, and it's and I crack up because like now that I'm not actually having sex with people, it's like I got to a point where I said to my best friend last night we was talking shit, you need to get some. I was like, I probably do because I got stressed. I got a lot of stuff going on. I need to get some. But I know for me, at understanding where I am emotionally, not even just with sex, just emotionally and what I've been through in the last 2 years, I can't fuck nobody without feelings. So that's a no-go for me. The person that I have as an option, we got too much invested. So if you don't love me and want to be with me, we can't fuck. And then on top of that, I understand that once I start, you got to give me some.
Yeah.
When I want it. I don't want to hear no. Because as a female, we can call other people.
Right.
I tried to be a hoe. I can't. I tried. I tried. I'm not that person.
No, it is hard work.
Like I'm not that person.
I got it, Sonny. Keep going.
Oh no, it's Hank texting me, asking me can I talk. I'm like, I can't talk to you right now. I'm live.
Exactly. Toxic sex used to be lit, but then I started loving myself.
Yeah, but like I tried, like I cracked it because my best friend, I said I was trying to be a hoe early, and she's like, bitch, you would never a hoe. I'm like, I was trying because you know, it didn't, like I realized, like I said, we did on one of the Sex and Sunny shows. I realized I never had a one night stand. Yeah, I tried. Like, but I already know these people, so it's not considered by default. Yeah, that's not a one night stand. Yeah. I thought if I hit it and quit it one night, it was a one night stand. It was like, nah, bro, you knew that nigga for like 7 years.
I'm screaming.
No, it's not a one night stand. Like I said, I tried, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, and I'm a tease. I like teasing people. So like, it's like, you get me started. Listen, I'm here for it. I'm gonna show out, and then I might be. So she's like, "Oh, I'm ready." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't even want no more."
Yeah,
I'm all over the map with mine. Like it depends on my mood. Like I may be like, "Yes, I want it."
Keep them guessing.
Want it. Leave me the fuck alone. Don't touch me. I'll kill you.
What's next?
Want it. Huh?
I said, keep them guessing. What's next?
Nah.
Period.
My thing is just like for me, intimacy is a very hard thing for me, and I don't think intimacy is always in the physical. I think intimacy, like you know how they always say, my body is your body is a temple.
Yes.
But when you've been violated like that, it's hard to see it that way. It's hard to see it as a temple.
Yes.
And like Sonny was saying earlier, like I would think, like I'm a control freak in certain instances, not all the time, but sometimes. But anyway, I would be like, oh, he want this? Oh, I got him.
Oh, I'll take you down. I'll take you down.
But not realizing I was tearing myself down. But I thought I had this magnificent power.
Yes.
So I'm like, I got all this power. And then it wasn't until I started really doing some introspection. I was like, wait a minute. Girl, you ain't got no control. You can't even control you.
Ooh.
How you can't control nobody else.
Ooh.
I can do it, but I think people see, my problem is the people that I try to have one night stands with, they want to talk and get to know me. And it's like, listen, like it's the same way with fuck buddies. It's like, listen, we supposed to just hump and go on about your business.
Yes.
And falling in love.
Like I've had hump buddies, and it's just like I got this one guy, like I swear to God, like
out here googly eyed with your hump buddy.
I call him my chocolate bar. He just chocolate as he want to be. Just everything just beautiful, right?
Yes.
Situation is beautiful. The lovely love below is beautiful. All that, right? Me and him have understanding. We talk, but we talk very minimum. It's like not. I don't know how your day was. I don't give a fuck about what you was doing. It's very minimal conversation about unproductive ass stuff. We used to hump and get on about your business. And like right now, I could call him like, "Hey, what you doing? I'm backed up. What we doing?" He come over and hurt me inside, and then go on about his business and stuff like that. Whatever. But like, it's not a one night stand because I've known him for years. Like I know him since my daughter was probably 3. My daughter's now 19. That's why I say it's not for me. It's people that I've got history with. So, but like at the same time, it's like for me, I don't want that because I want. Even though I've been through an emotional situation for the last 2 years, I feel like for me, I want, if I'm going to fuck somebody, I want somebody that's mine because I want to do every fucking thing that I want to do. I need you to participate in it. I got some shit that I'm ready to do, and I need to show you, like, because I've like some dudes that I've dealing with, like, hey, I'm gonna show you something real quick. Let me show you something. This is what I'm into now. But like now, I'm 38. Come on, listen, I'm about to be 39. I'm almost 40. Listen, I got some shit to show you real quick before you can't do shit no more. I got you. Let me like, because now my motive is, if I'm with you, I'm trying to take you down and just be like, yo, she just really came in here and did that and left me for dead, and then went and go make breakfast.
Reclaiming your sexy is holistic. It's not just for me, yesterday I went to lesbian night at the bar. My partner had work to do, and we don't live together. And we're also non-monogamous. So while I'm not searching for sex right now with another partner, my libido's so low because I'm in fucking grad school. So I have nothing else to think about but how much of a dumb decision this was. No. So I have all this other stuff that I'm thinking about, and things like that happen. Like you said, I don't want to push that on my partner. They're fine as fuck. They can get out here and do what they need to do, period. Especially if that's what you're needing. I didn't want to go to the bar to be picked up, but you bitches need to tell me I look good. I came here to show y'all my titties. Why else would I fucking be here? I'm here to show bitches my titties. I'm here to have my ass out. I have my ass out. And everybody was like, oh my God, look at your ass. It's out. I'm like, period. And that for me is my holistic, because as I said, I come from being that was one of my huge trauma responses is over-sexualization, as well as making lights and jokes of everything that happens to me that is actually traumatic. It's my way of getting through it because it's fucked up and you can either laugh or cry about it. And I choose to laugh about it. And that's a part of me reclaiming it is understanding, well, I'm with this person, but I can't meet all your needs and you can't meet all of mine. One of the things I need is 100 people in a room just telling me I look hot. I don't know what that is, but I need it. I need all these people on the internet to be like, oh, I want to fuck this bitch. And just like you said, that's what I do with my sex work. Then you close the door. You edgelord them, you cuck, you do all of this. And falling into these dominant structures of sex work, as well as just getting into role playing, doing different sorts of things. It brings out different sides of you that you didn't know you could be. And it's important to tap into that. If you're not willing or you haven't yet, I would definitely say to like take some alone time, get some toys. ShopNB.com has great things for all people with all genitalia. ShopNB, ENBY. And they're pretty they're pretty reasonably priced, and you can just try different things out on yourself as well as with other partners, or just with other people. Because especially like you said, being violated, one of the things that I do with my support group is we get back into those positions. For some of us, like, you know, doggy style or being held down or having our hand, you know, put behind our head is very triggering. But if you have someone who you love and you go slow and you cry and you're allowed to cry and you're allowed to scream and to not understand what's happening and to move through that moment, then you might find yourself being like, oh shit, that's where I found myself with pole. I had been molested by a John that I was servicing, and he didn't pay me. So I was mad as fuck. And I went back in the club, and I had never tried pole before, but it was, my stripper name is Chaos, because when really bad things happen to me, I just have to do something equally as bad so that I can like offset it. And so that night I just got on the pole. I've never been on the pole before. And I literally think that was my way of re-empowering myself after doing something so disempowering, after being disempowered, after having my power stripped from me, after not seeking justice. I guess I'm gonna have to shake my ass. You know, there's really no other answer for me but to get up here and be a sexy bitch. That for me is just whatever I'm feeling in that moment. And right now it's being shaved with a mullet and, you know, kind of giving boy. Also play with your presentation, how you dress, how you look, how you come off. All of that are just some tools and tactics that you can use to like find ways to re-enter your body in a safe way, in a way that feels good to you, in a way that feels safe to you, because you have.
I think the first time I bought,
you don't feel safe here, you don't feel safe anywhere.
Yeah, I think the first time I bought lingerie was probably 4.5 years ago. I've never bought lingerie a day in my goddamn life. Now I just buy bathing suits. I just buy them and buy bathing suits. It's like I don't got nothing. I haven't been anywhere. I haven't worn the lingerie like, hey baby, look, I'm cute. I never wore that for a guy, but I got mad shit, and it's like
exactly wear it for you.
Wear it for you, exactly.
I got some stuff. Like some stuff for you, baby. Look, I got this. I look cute in this.
Well, one thing you could do too to wear for yourself, do a boudoir photo set.
Yes.
You know, have somebody take pictures of you so you can see how beautiful you are in your.
I be doing that by myself. I be in the house like, oh, I get dressed up. Let me do that by myself.
Yeah, do it for yourself.
Put my heels on. I can't tell me I ain't cute that day.
Yeah, I used to do photography for a long time and did stuff like that, and it was like.
But see, that would probably make me feel uncomfortable with somebody coming in and taking pictures of me.
Or buying one for somebody. I do that often for folks, like when you don't want to intrude on their sex life, or especially for survivors, I'll just pay for a photo shoot for them. If they want it to be sexy, they can make it sexy. But sometimes just seeing yourself with clothes on, just looking at your face for a long time is something we have not had the time to interrogate or even look at.
Yeah, but I think
literally
that would make me feel super.
I realized I look like my grandmother so much. I've never met her; she's dead. I never met her when she was alive. Once I was born, she died. I think the day of my birthday or the day before. It was very serendipitous. But I'm looking at a picture at her. I'm estranged from my family. She's the only one in my family I talk to. And I was like, Grandma, I've never even looked at my face. She copy printer is Xerox her face onto mine. And I've always felt like I look like my mother, but my grandma, me and her, we could be twins, literally. And I've never even met the woman. And it's because I've never taken the time to interrogate myself. Who am I? Where do I come from? Why my face look like this? I've just been moving from day to day. But as survivors, we have to breathe and own our sexy.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be a problem for me to do a boudoir shoot. It will probably be very hard for me because I don't like trying to, like, I put clothes on, I may look cute. People are like, oh, you look sexy. I'm not trying.
Yeah.
For me, that will be me putting on clothes that are sexy and trying to be sexy, and I will feel hella awkward.
I feel that.
This is why I do it but maybe one day I'll get to that point. Maybe at 40, I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Thank you so much.
Exactly. I'm
gonna go ahead and do this. About to die. I'm gonna go ahead and do this because that'll be part of me reclaiming myself and being okay with being sexy in front of somebody else.
Oh, yes. but then again, too, just like she was just saying, do it for yourself in terms of like just do it yourself. You can throw a camera up on a tripod and just do self.
Oh no, I do that. I already do that now with my with my cell phone. I got pictures already in my phone just in case. You do that. Hey man, listen. I ain't got one yet, but
there's many ways, yeah. But then I love the examples you were giving already, Tay. I mean, that's definitely helpful. I definitely think it's healing for people to find other methods, you know, because like we say, we know that there's many ways, you know, a lot of people choose self-destructive ways. Some people choose ways that are healing for them, but may not be right for others, right? You know, and other people may be doing something that they think nobody else is doing, and they may be ashamed, but then you find out, oh, other people are doing this, and it is okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like for me. I'm just getting out of a relationship that was 8 years. I was in 8 years, and I put myself on a fast because that relationship, I don't want to say father-daughter because he was a lot older than me, 13 years older than me, but I do feel like it was more parental than romantic, if that makes sense. And coming out of that, I was like, wow, like I never felt so powerless because I couldn't control him. He was too busy trying to control me. You know, and I connected with him on on an emotional level, but it was toxic, and I had to get out. It was reminding me too much. It was triggering too much. What I'm trying to say is that reclaiming your sexy is reclaiming yourself. It's reclaiming what makes you happy, what makes you smile. You know, like now I know people be like, "Oh gosh, she takes so many selfies." I know. I'm sorry, I do.
But she does. It's for Instagram, but she posted it on Facebook all day, every day.
Period. You better.
Well, my thing is, when it comes to the full body shot, this is what I mean about reclaiming your sexy. I don't like doing full body shots. But for some reason, I always want to turn to the side. But I'm like, that's gonna mess up the picture because you ain't got, you know. So I said, I got to get over that. I got to get over it. Either you confident or you not, and you need to be confident. You can't be like looking at yourself like you said about the mirror. I could look in the mirror to fix my hair and put my lipstick on or whatever, but I was told one time to say an affirmation while looking in the mirror. It nearly broke me. I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't look in the mirror too
like
much either.
I just be like, and I'm out.
Yeah, I look in the mirror when I'm doing my hair only. And then at one point, one year during COVID, I kept taking pictures in the picture, but it wasn't like me full face in the mirror. It was like a full picture of me standing in front of a mirror. But like, I know for like, honestly speaking, I don't go look in the mirror before I leave my house. I just do my hair, as long as it look good before I walk away from the thing. Cause you know, you got to do your hair in front of the mirror because you got to see what you're doing. But other than that, I'm not about to sit there and be like, oh, let me.
That's
none of that.
That's me. I'm critiquing.
No, I feel that too. Y'all are so like I live for this because I had a really huge depressive episode in college. I always I need to get her name's Ashley. Oh, she's an amazing fat activist, but she calls us former fats, people who used to be really fat and then lost weight, because people were just so fat phobic to me after I had lost weight that I started to look at my body way more all of a sudden. I never liked myself. I always thought I was ugly. And it was always because people were telling me about my body all the time. They were like, your boobs look like this, your butt looks like this, your hair looks like this, your skin looks like this. I'm like, damn, y'all looking. I don't need to look because I already know what's up. Y'all are surveilling me all of the time. And then I get so depressed in college that I lose 180 pounds in 2 months. And people are like, you look good, girl. I'm like, what?
And that's crazy. That's crazy.
What? Y'all, I am sickly. No one loses this much weight this rapidly because they're on this new diet. This is
like
not
that's stressing a bunch of other stuff.
Reclaim my body while it was like this frail person and decide how I want to see myself. And it's so crazy because you lose 180 pounds and you're like, damn, the fat was never the problem. It was always y'all, the weirdos.
Yeah. You know what though? To what you just said, I don't know if any of y'all ever saw the movie with Monique called Fat Girls.
Legend.
It's actually one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
It's my favorite because I didn't realize when I was, I don't know, maybe in my 20s and stuff, hanging around with my friends or people that I thought were my friends. And I would get picked on because I was skinny. I had these big boobs and nothing else. Like they would always remind me, like, oh, yeah, I couldn't have no butt. I couldn't, like stuff like that. But you're supposed to be my friend. And I didn't realize it at the time. I was like, yo, that's mad destructive. So you know how Facebook pull up the memories from back in the day or whatever? So this picture pops up with me and 2 other girlfriends. And all I could do is focus on myself. And not because like in a conceited way, but I'm looking at me and I'm like, you were fine.
Yes.
looked good. Your body was nice. Not saying it's not nice now. Just got a little extra.
Yeah, I think I look better
But,
now that I gained weight versus
but
when I was
my
skinny.
thing was, I didn't like the girl in the picture that was me. I thought I was trying to be accepted. I was trying to, so I would keep my hair
I've been
done,
there
get my
before.
nails done, because I wanted to look cute.
Yes.
And it wasn't until, of course, after I gained weight, of course,
Right.
that I realized this is me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm not curvy, and that's okay. I shouldn't feel like less of a woman because you know. And I was like, you
Yes.
got to get out your head. And then having my daughter really made me pull up my confidence. She was just a baby when I was starting that transition, but I knew that I could only fake it being confident for so long. This is a baby. She gonna get older. She gonna get wiser. So if I don't love myself, she's not gonna love herself.
Period.
True.
Period.
Very true.
And
All
I
right.
was
Well, we're
so
getting
I
ready
had
to
to
wrap
find
the show. It's been a very, very dope and I hope
Yeah.
helpful conversation to a lot of people.
Mhm.
Before we go, let's give out final thoughts. We
Go
can
ahead,
start
Tay.
with Nye, go to Tay.
Oh,
Willie, you can give final thoughts and I'll give mine to wrap the show.
Okay. Well, my thoughts are that this was a really good topic to cover.
Yes.
I also feel like just because you've been victimized doesn't mean you have to stay that way all your life. You know, you don't have to walk around with that ugly V on your chest, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like you gotta work through it, whether that's therapy, whether that's praying, yoga, method, whatever. But you have to work through it, otherwise you'll never heal. So that's my final thought.
Tay?
Yes. That was a good final word.
Yeah.
My final thoughts would be, once again, this was an amazing conversation, but to keep the conversation going. If we talk
Absolutely.
about rape and abuse only in these sort of silo, insular areas where, our friends and people are here to support us, and not in those areas where it seems scary and unapproachable, there really isn't anything happening. And it's not up to the survivor, as we saw, unfortunately, to confront their abuser. It's up to the community to protect us. So protect survivors, believe survivors, and yeah, period.
indeed, indeed. I just want to ditto that because protect the survivors, right? Let's not blame the survivors. Let's not blame the victims. Let's definitely be more empathetic.
Yes.
That was the biggest thing for me, especially being a man and having to deal with both the thought or the shame of what it is to be a man that's gone through that, or having to be empathetic or understanding of a woman who's gone through that I may either be in a romantic relationship with or just be a friend or a family member with, just understanding and having to what they say, be an advocate or be a supporter, and being able to take that step back and realize these things can happen. Not that they don't happen because it didn't happen to you, not that they don't happen because nobody wants to talk about it, but don't know that it happens and that we need to give that support.
Yes.
Yeah. And my final thought would be to acknowledge Smooth's contribution to our podcast, our shirt that says "Protect our boys like we protect our girls." As fiercely as we protect our girls, we need to protect our boys. Rape culture is it has so many intricate things to it, and we have to understand that we can't always attack the survivors. We need to protect them. For those that actually lie and say that they experience these traumas, you are a detriment to the people that have and are surviving this and dealing with this every day. It makes it harder for us. And understanding that if you don't know what to say, just be there for somebody. And just open the dialogue to have always constant communication and understanding. And like I said, if this show doesn't do anything for anybody anywhere, at least you understand what at least you get some introduction to a detail of what we go through as we approach being sexual and being our authentic self, and understanding our sexuality after being experiencing these traumas. So that's a big thing, a takeaway that I want anybody to take away from this conversation. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Tay, you already know. Thank you for joining me. Anytime you want to show up on the podcast, let me know.
Oh, you already know. Everybody coming up. Period.
Officially following you on Instagram. I don't know wherever else you are on social media, but I will follow you there. Yeah. I already followed you on Twitch. So we're good with that. We'll figure it out, but we'll have the conversation. But don't hang up, because we're going to be, when we leave, don't automatically leave completely. We're going to have a chat after we close out. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I hope this helped you guys understand. Shout out to our comment section. You guys been lit. Yeah. I hope this guys helped you guys or help you understand. For those who catching the playback, I hope this helps you in some way. And if it does, drop a comment. Go to our website, GFT Radio Show, for all our podcasts and all of everything that we do on our GFT Radio network. Also, go to our Facebook group on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, you should be in the Join the Conversation group, where we talk about everything. Like I said, GFT Radio is a podcast where we talk about everything. Nothing is too taboo. We don't judge people. We just have real grown-ass conversations about things that we need to have conversations about. And we have a little fun. So that too. Catch us. I already did the show, so I'm not going to do that. But thank you again for joining us tonight. We're going to wrap this show. Bye, guys. Thanks, Nye, my big sis who turned 24 a couple days ago. Shout out to her for her birthday.
Happy birthday again.
Thank you guys again for joining, and we'll see you on the next Sex with Sunny.
Yep. Have a good night.